You don't have to be afraid. This child is his way.
I want to start with your relationship to horror.
Sure.
and what that's like for you. What it was like before you came to the First Omen and what it's like now.
I mean, horror's always been my favorite genre. I saw the original Omen when I was like 11. I used to sneak over to like my next door neighbor's house and watch all these. She always had the best horror films and all on DVD. And like I would sneak over and we would just watch things that were wildly inappropriate for our age range. And it stayed with me, you know, the original Omen. And I watched it many times after that too. And then when I revisited it coming back to make this film, I was like, it really does stand the test of time.
Was it an accident? Was it murder? Was it a coincidence? Or was it an omen?
My relationship with horror, I feel like is even more, it feels like such a big part of my life now. Like I feel like I can't escape it in the best way possible.
It's all for you.
It's your first time in the lead of a movie, and it's also your director, Arkasha Stevenson's first time directing a feature.
Yeah.
What was that collaboration like?
She's now like one of the most important people in my life. Like me and Kash, I don't know if I could have done it without Kash. I don't know if she'll say the same, but like, she's just the most wonderful human being you'll ever meet, and she's so smart, and she knew exactly what she wanted to do with this movie. Like, she knew exactly what she wanted to do, and she fought every step of the way to do exactly what she wanted to do. And because I trusted her implicitly, I trusted her so much, I was like, Kasha wants it, we're doing it. Like, there was no hesitation for me. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I have to do some pretty weird stuff in this film that, like, on paper or, like, if you see it written down, you're like, sorry, one more time? What do you mean that I have to do this? But with Kasha, I was like, cool, yeah.
There's
Let's do
amount
it.
of trust
Great.
there, yeah.
It was like we had this, like, she'd give me this look sometimes, and I was like, oh, we're doing it. Okay, copy.
There's a moment that I like, again, late in the movie that holds on you as you are convulsing, and it's about 20 or 30 seconds where you're really, really throwing yourself
A bit
around.
longer than that.
Yeah.
It's like 4 minutes.
Was it really? Oh my God.
It's around 4 minutes.
Is that how long? Was that how long it was on screen? Because you're locked into it. I lost track of time.
Yeah, it's like 4 minutes on screen. Yeah.
So what was that? It's a long, long take.
Yeah.
What level of trust do you have to have in your director that they are going to shoot that in a way that serves your performance and serves the story?
You have to kind of implicitly trust the person that you're working with to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, under the wrong lens and under the wrong guidance, that could have been actually a hypersexualized moment, like we were talking about before. Like, that could have been something that was there, or it could have been something that was there almost like a mockery. You know, it could have been handled wrong. And I think with Kasha, she wanted it to be powerful. That's what she wanted it. And she wanted it to be kind of like this female rage. And it's like, and I think that partially that's what that scene represents. At least for me, that was what I took from it, which was like, Margaret, the character, has been repressed her whole life. Everything that she believes to be real and that she witnesses around her and that she trusts in her instinct, she's been told is wrong, and she shouldn't trust herself and she shouldn't listen to her own inner voice. And then, you know, obviously, if you take it at face value, what's happening in the scene doesn't feel like there's a relation to those undercurrents. It's so rare that we get to see women on film being contorted and ugly and brutal and animalistic and like so far away from what we're supposed to be, which is, you know, pretty and put together. And it for me, it was like the most cathartic experience ever in my life. Like, I'd recommend it as a form of therapy for man, woman, everybody. Like, just go and do that in the mirror and you will feel fantastic afterwards. Yeah. And because I trusted Arkasha so much at that time, I kind of understood what she wanted to say with it. So we just went for it.
Yeah.
Didn't rehearse it or anything. And I'd like to dispel the rumors that any of it's CGI or that, like, we're on a pulley or something. It's not. It's just, you know, anybody can actually do that with their body. You just have to be rage-filled enough to give it a go.
Yeah. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Who said that?
Going back to sort of the larger themes of the First Omen, I'm a huge fan of religious horror in film. Why do you think that's such a powerful subgenre, and why do we keep coming back to it?
I mean, something that I've been saying is that, like, for me personally, I think it's because we love to assign meanings to things that don't necessarily have them in the first place. Like, we like taking things that are like traditionally very innocent and like supposed to be comforting, like a child's doll or a clown, and like assigning some sort of sinister meaning towards it to make it terrifying. It feels like some strange human thing that we do. Like nuns and priests are supposed to represent like the safety and purity and all that is good in the world. That's, you know, what their intention is. And then when you assign this like insidious meaning towards it all, it's like it's quite a polarizing thing, and we love to do that. Like I just saw that they've made like Winnie the Pooh into horror films, and it's like, well, why take the most beloved child story of all time? There's actually horror versions of all children's stories. It's because we love to add the macabre to things that don't necessarily warrant it. I think it's just like an artistic, fun thing to do. Like, well, what if this thing that was supposed to be the thing that protects you, or supposed to be, you know, the most like pure thing on the planet, and what if we make it evil? Religion is one of the most sensitive topics in the world. Like, it's things that you're not supposed to discuss with each other if you've just met, and things like that, because it can instantly divide people straight away.
You must be very careful, Margaret. Bad things will start to happen around her. Evil things.
Oh, I have to go now.
No, please.
And when you think back on this experience of making this movie and the final product, what are you most proud of?
To be honest, I'm most proud of like the ensemble effort of the film. Everybody that was involved in this film fought for it tooth and nail, like every single person. Everybody really fought for every moment of this movie, because obviously some of the pieces are quite shocking. And like everybody fought for everything, and it's so lovely to see it how Karsh intended it and how we all wanted it to feel and look, and everybody was supportive, but it, you know, it's a laborious process making a film that's this kind of controversial in some elements. And it's not controversial for the sake of it, you know, it's not even on purpose. Yeah. It's just people are reacting the way that they're reacting to some moments. But yeah, I'm just really proud that everybody pulled their weight and really did everything they could to make this movie happen the way it happened.
Considering how the movie ends, and we don't have to give away anything about where your character stands in the grand scheme, but the movie does certainly set up plot threads that could be picked up on in follow-up movies. And even just as somebody that has really appreciated this process from the perspective of someone that loves horror, what is exciting to you about the idea of more stories picking up on what this movie establishes?
I just think it's just an exciting feeling, an idea that there could be more to say, there could be more to be told, you know. It does leave it open, you know, there's lots of questions that still haven't been answered, and who knows? It is definitely something that could be explored and could be expanded on. It doesn't need to be, but it could be. So that's always fun to know that there isn't like a hard end, and like, you know, we got like 7 years until we reached the original film, so yeah. Got like 7 years of content to play with. Who knows?
Heck yeah. My last question here for you. We at IGN are big old Carrie Fisher fans, and we know that you got to be in Wonderwell with her before she passed. I just want to hear what that experience was like, and how it feels to have that movie finally out there, because it was 9 years on the shelf or something like that, right?
It was, yeah. It was on the shelf for a long time. Look, I made that movie when I was 16, and I honestly just forgot everything I did in the film, and watching it was just like a sweet reminder, because the people in that movie are still my best friends to this day. Like, Sebastian Croft, who is in that movie with me, is one of my best friends. Kira Millward, like, we're so close, and that movie brought us together, which was lovely. And like, it's just lovely to watch us when we were kids and to have that experience. But Carrie is exactly everything you would hope she would be. Like, she is hilarious, like so funny. She always had a can of Coke in her hand, like always in her hand. It was brilliant. We like celebrated her 60th birthday with her there, and she would come and get me, and she'd be like, "Nell, let's smoke out the window," and stuff. Like, "Don't tell your mom." And like, it was just great. Like, she just brought so much humor and kindness, and she's just everything you really would hope. Kind of
like the aunt who's letting you kind of get away with stuff.
She was like the fun aunt, and you know, we were all very deeply sad when she passed. Yeah. But she was fantastic.
You'll understand soon enough.